Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Myles, I'm not sure about you, but I am locked and loaded on GE here. Shares are up about 2%. The stock is starting to pop or percolate on the Yahoo Finance trending ticker page. And that comes after really an aggressive call, Myles, I would say, on General Electric, saying, quote, we view GE as the ultimate self-help reopening levered story in industrials. I mean, there's a lot of Wall Street jargon there, certainly in that. But ultimately, Goldman Sachs is looking for GE really to deliver strong second half of the year free cash flow that should support a stock price that perhaps is 23% higher than current levels.
Well, a couple things with GE. One, the street, it feels like people are still waiting to fully understand the story. I certainly am waiting to fully understand what the story is with GE, other than Larry Culp loves selling off parts of the business. The other thing with GE is that if it still is indeed an industrial giant, I think it's a very clean thesis there, from Goldman. Company right now is worth about $115 billion. And if it is indeed anything resembling kind of a levered bet here on a reopening, a cyclical upturn in the economy, then, market cap closer to 175, maybe $200 billion might be more appropriate. And Sozzi, I'll hit you with a final one. Something about GE makes me feel young in that by the time I was following markets, the company was basically on its death march towards, what we're looking at there on the chart. And I have no memory of like a GE golden age where it was the top of the heap. Everyone admires and looks up to what's happening over at GE. My first memory of GE was 2012 jobs report when Jack Welch talks about those Chicago guys cooking the numbers ahead of Obama's reelection. So that's my association with GE, and I always think about what stock is going to boomer find me in the market. Maybe it's Facebook, where I care so much about every Facebook incremental update, and in 10 years, or 15, 20 years, the kid I'm doing this show with says, yeah, dude, I just don't know. Facebook just doesn't really do it for me.
That's a great way to put it. Well, Myles, I'm glad you're feeling young on GE, because I can guarantee you GE's stock has caused a lot of folks and a lot of investors a whole heck of a lot of gray hair, if not them losing their hair over the past 5 years. I mean, it has been an abysmal play because of really absolutely terrible leadership. I'll leave this note before we go switch over to Tesla here. Goldman also noting a little bit further down in this note, quote, we view the next chapter for GE beyond our $16 price target as being driven by double-digit free cash flow margins, which would imply really a stock price over $20, which is very fascinating to see. GE stock is about $13 now. It's just it's almost hard to believe calls like this on a company like GE. Nonetheless, Myles, we're also looking at Tesla here, and UBS dropping the hammer on Tesla's price target, taking it down to 660 from 730 previously, after a very extensive consumer survey, which one of the main takeaways here was that Tesla investors need to be concerned by a whole heck of a lot of competition in the U.S. and, of course, China.
Yeah, we had a version of this conversation the other day where everyone acknowledges that Tesla is a market leader. Tesla had a first mover advantage. Tesla makes great vehicles that users and purchasers of those vehicles really like over time. Obviously, we've all seen all the Tesla Q stuff on Twitter, but back that out, right? The average person, a lot here out in the burbs, the average person who buys a Tesla tends to really like the Tesla and often buys more Teslas, upgrades their Teslas over time. But they have had a huge lead on the auto industry at large. And the question is a very simple one, Sozzi, as you noted, and as UBS notes here as well. Will they continue to grow the market share gains they've made at the same pace as more incumbent automakers come into the electric vehicle space? No one doubts that there are going to be more Teslas on the road over time, but will the gap between the number of Teslas and, say, the number of electric F-150s, what have yous? I think about, my car, very popular car, right? Good old Grand Cherokee. There's going to be an electric one of those probably in 5 years, right? So how much share is Tesla going to continue to gain? Am I going to have to go buy a Tesla to get an electric car, or can I stay with the same make and model and the same manufacturer to have an electrified car? I think that's, kind of the question here for Tesla. And you think about how much growth has been priced in. $600 billion company, maybe $700 billion company, depending on exactly where the stock price is, bigger than most of the automakers combined. So, a lot of growth has been anticipated there. And even with, tremendous growth for the company going forward, does it gain market share at the same rate? Remains an outstanding question.
Well, you could do your own electric motor swap in your garage. Just clear out all that gym equipment. You could, in fact, do it. Let me leave you with this, too, before you get over to the interactive board. UBS also noting, quote, fundamentally, we argued in our deep dive report that $400 billion market value could be justified on Tesla by the software complex. This includes a large robo-taxi opportunity in 2030. Really, so UBS really kicking to the face many Tesla bulls out there.
Do we need to worry about the robo-taxi opportunity? Tesla sells a lot of cars. They're going to sell more cars.
Just throw it in. When you write a 100-page research note, just dump it all in.
Tesla starts selling 2 million cars a quarter. That's good for Tesla, right? That's kind of where we're headed here. We don't need to worry about the robo-taxi stuff, right? That's 2015. That's 2015.
Just reporting the news,
the story has been verified on a sell cars basis, and I think we can just focus on that. All right, let's go inside the Wi-Fi interactive touchscreen for a minute here. Take a look at some of the trending tickers on Yahoo Finance. As Brian Sozzi mentioned earlier, Facebook remains the top trending ticker. Stock popped to a record high yesterday on news that FTC lawsuit against the company had been rejected by a Washington, D.C. judge. Now, the FTC does have until the end of next month, July 29th, to be more precise, to refile its charges, its complaint against Facebook. But market certainly receiving that news positively yesterday. Rare trending ticker here for the financial sector. Morgan Stanley stock is up 4%. Brian Chung joined us earlier in the program to let us know Morgan Stanley doubled its dividend, largest increase among major financial institutions. We see the Dow's outperformance today really driven by what's happening in the financial space. Coinbase, another interesting trending ticker here, and just interesting to look at this stock over the last couple of months. Obviously, has been beaten down since the IPO, but if you look at it over the last 7 days, we've seen a little bit more of a bid, a little bit more constructive trading coming into Coinbase. And there's always questions. There had been questions before the IPO or the direct listing, and then after the direct listing, how Coinbase would trade relative to the overall crypto space. And its public debut came pretty much at Bitcoin's record high, pretty much Bitcoin's all-time peak. And we've seen Coinbase under some pressure since then as a result. And so what I'm saying is it's been a proxy play on the price of overall cryptocurrencies. That comes with the good, that comes with the bad. Maybe Coinbase can start to chart its own course as we go forward here. And we see, again, a lot of movement here on the trending tickers, real-time updates on the Wi-Fi Interactive as we try to keep track of the day's market.